In chapter 17, we have another test over water. You know, sometimes we get tested with the same thing over and over until we get it right. Well, did the children of Israel get it right this time? No. They complained. You see, the Lord wanted them to simply ask. There is a difference between asking and complaining. And one of those differences is our entitlement attitude. You know, I'm entitled and you haven't provided, so I'm going to berate you with my nasty attitude. You know, that's complaining. Compare that with, I am your child, and you have taken care of me before. Now I come humbly asking you to take care of me now. I need water, please. See the difference? Verse 5, And the Lord said to Moses, Pass on before the people, taking with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the staff with which you struck the Nile, and go. And behold, I will stand before you there on the rock at Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and water shall come out of it, and the people will drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. Well, this is when and where Moses brought forth water by striking the rock with the staff. Now, in an upcoming Torah portion, we're going to learn something more significant about the second time that Moses goes to strike the rock. The rest of this chapter has to do with a battle between Israel and Amalek, starting in verse 8. Then Amalek came and fought with Israel at Rephidim. So Moses said to Joshua, Choose for us men, and go out and fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the staff of God in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses told him, and fought with Amalek, while Moses, Aaron, and Hur went to the top of the hill. Whenever Moses held up his hand, Israel prevailed, and whenever he lowered his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands grew weary, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it, while Aaron and Hur held up his hands, one on one side and the other on the other side, so his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua overwhelmed Amalek and his people with the sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, Write this as a memorial in a book, and recite it in the ears of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar, and called the name of it, The Lord is my banner, saying, A hand upon the throne of the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. And of course in Deuteronomy chapter 25 verse 19 we read, Therefore it shall be, when the Lord your God has given you rest from your enemies round about, in the land which the Lord your God gives you for an inheritance to possess it, that you shall blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. You shall not forget it. Why was God so harsh with Amalek? Why did God swear to have a war with Amalek in every generation, and give the commandment to block out Amalek and for us to not forget it? What was it that Amalek did that so angered the Lord? Well, it's because Amalek attacked the children of Israel when they were still weak from thirst. You know, despite what some people say about wars in Scripture, the Lord actually does have rules for war, and one of them is not to attack the people when they are in a weakened state. You ruin your honor by doing that. Do you remember Simeon and Levi at Shechem, and how they attacked the men of that city on the third day after their circumcision? Well, God harshly judged Simeon and Levi for that. Simeon was the older of the two, and he got the heavier judgment, and his entire tribe simply disappeared by being absorbed into the house of Judah. And then I want to go back up here and talk about that whenever Moses' hand was up, that Israel prevailed, and whenever he lowered his hand, Amalek prevailed. Well, this is the staff of God. What is the staff of God? It's the Torah. So the Torah is what helps us to prevail over our enemies. Do you remember when Yeshua was tempted in the desert by Hasatan? What were the words that Yeshua spoke to him? All of them. What were they? They were words that came from Torah. They were not anything new that he just made up on the spot. It wasn't anything that had not been said before. He used the Torah to prevail over Satan. That should be a clue for us as to why the Torah should be in authority in our lives as well. Well, I hope that I have given you some new information, and I hope that you have a Shabbat Shalom.